What's going on, guys? It's Mr. DEBT Joe Lorick from the Money Etiquette Group here with an updated video about Akon City. A lot has just come out in the last 7 days about who's financing Akon City, who's going to be doing the construction work, when it will be completed. So I want to share these details with you. And again, I'm not doing so to cause you to be warned or cause you to worry about who's involved. I just want you to know the information when it comes to Akon City so you can watch this as it develops. It's very important to know not only who's behind the money, but also who's constructing, who's going to be consulted. It's important to know who's involved here when you're looking at the building of Akon City. Again, we haven't seen this happen before in terms of from start to finish. We haven't witnessed in real time too many cities being built and then that information being released. So I think it's interesting as a case study and also something to watch unfold. To see what happens and who's involved and see how things get done when it comes to building a new age city. For those who aren't familiar with Akon City, just to put this out there, Akon City is going to be built in Senegal on 2,000 acres. It's going to be in a special tax area to make sure to attract exporters and importers and international trade. And this is going to be a city that's going to be run off of a cryptocurrency created by Akon called akoin. Right now, akoin is in existence, but again, it's not something that's widely spread. It's not like Bitcoin at this point, but essentially they're going to power this city not only through akoin, but also through cryptocurrencies instead of paper money. We'll see how that goes. We'll see the timeline on that, but that's some of the details. If you don't know who Akon is, that's a American-born Senegalese singer/rapper who had several hits out there. He's been involved in lighting Africa in that project. And recently he moved to cryptocurrency, and also he's building this city, which will be not a first of its kind, but certainly one of the newer cities that we've seen, especially when you look at how cryptocurrency will play a role in this city's economy. But again, Akon, he was backed by, as I put out in my previous video, Chinese backers, okay? Because when you look at anyone that's getting into cryptocurrency and building these new cities, you know that China is heavily invested in Africa. I believe they put out a $100 billion credit line, and this is where you'll see that $6 billion was recently rewarded as a contract, a construction contract to KE International. But again, that's Akon's involvement. He certainly has his imprint on this city, and we'll see how things go in the future. But let's get into the details, the new details about Akon City that was just put out. Just as of last week, KE International was awarded a $6 billion construction contract from Akon and partners to help build Akon City for phase 1 and part of phase 2. Phase 1, by the way, will include a Hamptons hospital campus, a Hamptons shopping center, residences, hotels, a police station, a school, a landfill, and also a solar power plant. It also will be a special tax zone. That way you don't have to pay as much for importing and exporting to attract international business to this city in Senegal, Akon City. But KE International, let's get to them a little bit, because you need to understand not only the name of the companies that's going to be constructing and building Akon City, it's important to understand who's behind these companies. And you might be surprised, but several of the key players when it comes to KE International are also tied to Boeing Company. The director, I believe his name is Alan Nicolosi. Alan Nicolosi is the director of business and partnerships with KE International, but he's also a partner at Boeing. And another, let's just say, board member of KE International, Steve Karchner, he's a consulting and systems engineer. He's also a engineering manager at Boeing Company. Just saying that Boeing will be heavily involved with the construction of Akon City. Derek Williams, he's also the third and only other listed director. I think he's a director of engineering and project management. He's also involved. He's not a Boeing employee, but he's also involved. Some of the advisors to KE International, one that I actually like, Joe Ballard, the retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General, who I believe was the first black person appointed chief engineer by President Bill Clinton back in 1996. So he is a first among black people. He was also a Vietnam War veteran. I believe he may have fought in South Korea also. So we're talking about a decorated, officer, a decorated Army lieutenant Lieutenant General. This is a person that's served, that's done a lot for the country, and he is at least on the advisory board when it comes to KE International and these type of projects. Some of the other people that are on the advisory board: Neil Williams, he's the former CEO of Enviro Power, and Ben Williams, who was an operation manager at Enviro Power. So also Enviro Power is another company that's heavily associated with KE International. And when we look at the constructing and building of Akon City, keep these names in mind. Again, Boeing and also Enviro Power. And as you can see, with also retired Lieutenant General Joe Ballard being involved in this, that means that you have a lot of military that's involved in this project. So keep that in mind. Just again, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm not saying that this is nefarious or wrong. I just want you to know who's involved in constructing Akon City. Also, when it comes to KE International, other projects they've worked on, they've done some work in Kenya for the Malawi Medical and Technical City that's in Kenya. They were a big part of constructing that city. So they do have experience in building new age cities that are clean cities, that are powered on more than just oil and dollars. Now, one more update I want to talk about really quickly, because people have been disputing this in the comment section based on my last video. In my last video, I said that Akon was born in the United States. And people have been questioning that, saying, no, he was born in Senegal. According to Akon himself, in a video from, I believe, 10 or so years ago, Akon said himself that his father made sure that his children, which includes Akon, were born in the United States, but then were raised in Senegal. So yes, he was raised in Senegal. I'm not saying he's of American culture, but he is an American citizen. Okay, he was born here. He said it himself. And you will know that that's not an uncommon practice when it comes to some of African nations, some countries in Africa, some of the parents making sure that their children are born in America, but then raised in Kenya, raised in Ghana, raised in Nigeria, raised in Senegal. This is not something that's unusual. It does happen because it makes it easier for travel when that person becomes an adult. And as we can see, Akon is taking advantage of that. So I'm not trying to discount Akon's lineage. I'm not trying to say that he's less African than anyone else. I'm just saying he was born in the United States, according to Akon. But back to Akon City, just in case you didn't catch it, the timeline in which they're expecting phase 1 to be completed. This is where, again, you're going to have the Hamptons Hotel campus. You're going to have the Hampton Shopping Center. Remember the name Hampton. Again, Hampton will be heavily involved in Akon City. They're going to have the first shopping center, and they're going to have the first hospital campus. We don't know about all the other businesses that are involved, but they have been named Hamptons. Okay, keep that in mind. That phase will be completed again by 2023, and then from 2024 to 2029, you're going to have phase 2 that goes out. So it seems like the first phase will at least make it an operational city. You'll have everywhere that you need to go in terms of entertainment. You'll have somewhere to stay. You'll have a shopping center. If international guests want to come and stay, it'll be easier for them to stay. Police station, a school. So it seems like they are setting up for someone to have a residence there instead of just, visiting. So it seems like the first people, when it comes to living in Akon City, will be able to live in Akon City by 2023. And then by 2029, the last phase is completed before you look at maybe a long-term change in the next 10, 15 years in terms of development of the city. But getting back to everything, what do you guys think? How do you feel about this? Now that you have more information, you know that Boeing and people at Boeing are heavily involved in this. You do understand that the military and retired military and Army people are involved in this. When you look at China backing this from a finance standpoint, a $100 billion credit line. When you look at just everyone involved, how do you feel about it? What do you feel about the timeline? And also, so many people were saying, I'm going to move to Akon City. Well, it looks like you got to wait until about 2023. But is this attractive to you? If you're a United States citizen, do you feel like this will be an escape for U.S. citizens, especially if you're a Black American with what's going on right now in the culture and the cities that we live in? Do you feel like, this is a possible place to escape? The U.S. is heavily involved. We have international businesses, international companies heavily involved. Akon's involved. So Africa's involved. Senegal's involved. Do you feel like this is something that you find attractive? And then for those who are cryptocurrency fans, what do you feel about a whole city being powered by cryptocurrency? Particularly, we're talking about akoins. Let me know in the comment section what you think. I'm going to stay on this as much as I can. Apparently, construction is about to start. So for those who are looking to go over there and visit, maybe you can get pictures, maybe you can see what it looks like, but we'll have to wait and see. So far, this is the information we have. You do with it what you must. Either way, I appreciate your support. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you add a comment. Just let me know what you know. But let's not ask and let's not continue debating on where Akon was born and if he's an American. Akon culturally is from Senegal, but he was born in the United States. That's all to it. Not a bad thing, not a good thing. It is what it is. All right, guys, until the next time, peace.